I'm also going to take to talk about progress in the achievement in summary. Then I'll also talk about the challenges that we faced during the implementation of TSP. And in my conclusion, I'm going to conclude with the implications of my presentation to the media fraternity as we move forward, as we move to another major step that government is taking, that is the National Development Strategy. Maybe before I move on, the presentation is another thing. What we have in our heads is another thing. Was TSP a success or a failure? Because we hear quite different songs from the media fraternity. But maybe after my presentation, we are going to have a common understanding. Maybe let me start by saying, after the holding of elections in July 2018, the task now for government was on how to reach our dream through the vision that is towards an empowered upper middle income society by 2030. And various options and scenarios were proffered. We could have came up with the 5-year development plan then. But what prevented that route was that a macroeconomic diagnostics of economic fundamentals then indicated that the economy faced a number of challenges which would retard the growth of the economy in the long run, hence the need for a short-term stabilization program. So this is really the background of why we came up with a 2-year program. For some may actually wonder why we came up with a 2-year program instead of a 5-year program. And some may actually wonder why TSP. In fact, we have been carrying out outreach programs in the different areas of Zimbabwe, explaining to people. Some of the questions that they ask is, why did you come up with TSP? Because it seems as if this TSP was the cause of some instability. So this is really the reason. Then, but what were the underlying challenges? What were those challenges which would hinder the growth of the Zimbabwean economy in the long run? Because when we crafted the TSP, it was actually launched on 5 October 2018. By then, if you look at the inflation rates, the average, the real wages, etc., they pointed to something which was better than what we experienced after TSP. But maybe let me just explain the fundamentals or the challenges that that the economy faced during that period. Number one is high and unsustainable fiscal deficit. I know this room is made up of people mostly from the media, so I'll try to explain further some of the terms that we usually use without necessarily thinking that you know everything about them. What we are saying here is that you will find that the government then or previously had been borrowing and borrowing. Although we were enjoying some stability by then, although people were earning wages which were a little bit higher, especially in the public service, it was really financed through in a sustainable way. It was really being financed by usually not revenue but issuance of TB treasury bills. And when you issue treasury bills, you are borrowing from the public to pay later. And those you will really you won't escape repaying those borrowings in one way or the other. So this was really a challenge. Then external disequilibrium. This was also a major issue. A lot of outflow of our foreign currency as opposed to what we were getting in terms of our exports of goods and services. Then we also had unsustainable unsustainable debt, external debt level, and this really we couldn't even borrow from the international community because of the risks associated with the debt. If you are in debt, no one will be glad to lend to you. And that's why the government resorted to borrowing internally, leading to the other issue I have highlighted before. We also have the limitations of the multi-currency system. In as much as the multi-currency system brings some stability, it doesn't actually bring growth, mainly because of competitive issues. If you are using an expensive currency in a region of regions, or in a region of countries that are using their own currencies with what we call seigniorage advantage, that's the advantages of having your own currency, you won't be competitive. So, and you actually see that we're facing quite a number of challenges in making sure that we have those dollars are available, or those rands are available. So, in summary, this actually led to government to say, no, we can't craft a long-term development plan without actually addressing these issues, because they will retard growth in the long run. Hence, we have to deal with them first before we come up with a longer term plan. Maybe let me move to the overall objectives of TSP. Number one was stabilization. I will define what stabilization is. The other issue is confidence building. This was another major objective. Then the other objective was sustainable growth, among quite a number of other objectives, but these were the main ones. Maybe let me just summarize before I go into detail of the progress. There were quite a number of scores which were measured in the different pillars. We have a document which we prepared as a Ministry of Finance together with the Office of the President Cabinet, who were monitoring the TSP. And this document, it really speaks of quite a number of progress in the different thematic areas, or in the different pillars of the vision. Maybe let me just summarize. In terms of economic reforms, we may be aware that the government, in order to deal with the limitations of the multi-currency system, it introduced the local dollar, the introduction of the Dutch forex auction, removal of fuel and electricity subsidies. Because subsidies, by their nature, they cause distortions in any economy. Operationalizing ZEDA, implementation of special economic zones. In the mining industry, there are quite a number of milestones there, including quite a number of projects that are lined up, or that are lined up even up to now. In the education sector, in the agriculture sector, quite some milestones. Although I will also touch on the challenges that we faced during the TSP period. We also had some major projects during the TSP period, which created quite a significant employment. For example, the expansion of the RGA, the airport, the new parliament building, the expansion and modernization of the Beitbridge border post, the Beitbridge road, and quite a number. In health, in ICTs, in youth, in gender empowerment, we had quite a number of milestones there. In the financial services, we had some improvement in savings. As you are aware that savings, they will actually lead to investment once they are kept in a sustainable way or manner. Let me just zero into some major ones. For example, the first one that I described in terms of stability, in terms of cleaning of government accounts, in terms of government living within its means without borrowing locally or internationally. Government managed to manage fiscal consolidation, and we had enhanced revenue collection and expenditure containment, as well as having some surpluses in some months. This is a plus for us, because some may actually say, why are you reporting of surpluses when actually the hospitals they don't have drugs or etc. etc. For us, this is a step, a first step towards something better. Macroeconomic stability is something that has also been carried even into the NDS as a carryover, because it's very important. Without macroeconomic stability, we don't talk of any plan. But it is also important to note that although we have achieved this stability over the past few months, we really struggled with inflation for quite a number of months, especially soon after the reintroduction of the local currency. So this is the challenge that I will also highlight, and that we also need to know that although we may be achieving some stability now, we battled with instability for quite some significant time and months during the implementation of TSP. Then this is the other issue that you also manage to score in terms of the fiscal balance, in terms of the current account balance. For the first time in many years, we had quite a positive current account balance, and this is a plus for us in terms of what we are giving out and what we are getting in as a nation. And you will find that based on the objectives and the challenges that I described that we faced, you will see that we scored quite a number of scores in terms of the TSP implementation. There was strengthening of monetary policy. I won't go into detail. I also talked about this one. The strengthening of the financial sector, as well as the forex exchange system, which is stabilized around 82, as the Honorable Minister has said. And the premiums between the auction rate and the parallel exchange rate have narrowed over the past 4 or so months. And we are very confident that this will go on during the next 5-year national development strategy period. Inflation containment, you find that inflation is coming down, but as you can see, for those who can see on the graph, we battled with it for quite some time. So it was also important to note that even when reporting that Of course, yes, we have achieved some stability, but we really battled with inflation for quite some time during TSP implementation. Savings, I was talking about savings, I think these are the savings improvement. Maybe let me move to structural reforms. Because the TSP was not only focusing on economic issues, it was also focusing on political reforms, on governance and institutions, on devolution, even the compensation of former farmers, state-owned enterprises, budgetary, in competitiveness. Maybe let me just run through some of the scores or some significant progress. In terms of political reforms, by end of March, I don't know by now, the country had aligned 144 laws out of the 183, and this is a huge milestone for us as a nation. It's not a very simple matter to align these laws. And efforts have been underway to work on the remaining one. I think we have to check by now how many have been aligned over and above the 144. In terms of POSA and AIPA, I think POSA and AIPA were successfully reviewed, and this is also a score. In terms of devolution, as fiscal authorities, we will manage to support the devolution agenda in the 2020 national budgets, and we also see that in our 2021 national budget, we also have quite a significant chunk of the budget going to support devolution initiatives. Regional development, economic development, there was also some progress, including agriculture-related spatial development. International engagement, I think with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs here, we scored quite a number of scores. And we also had quite a number of strategies to make sure that our re-engagement agenda goes smoothly. For example, changing the diplomatic staff in key embassies, engaging the Zimbabweans in the diaspora for skills, resources, and network. In regular engagement with foreign diplomats, engagement with the EU, etc. I think we scored quite some scores under this pillar, engagement and re-engagement, which was also part of the macroeconomic stability pillar. Then, in terms of compensation of white farmers, I think the Honorable Minister, former commercial farmers, the Honorable Minister also touched on this. But maybe let me just highlight that this, for us as a country, this is very important because successful compensation of former commercial farmers, one way or the other, will actually result in the lowering of the country risk. Hence, our ability even to access foreign markets even for money as a country in the long run. There were quite some milestones in terms of the public enterprises reforms in terms of what we planned under TSP, but we also actually see that this has not really moved as we had envisaged. And some of the unfinished business under the public enterprise reform will be carried over into the national development strategy. In terms of ease of doing business, you may be aware that we did very well during the TSP, climbing up to 140 in 2019, and for us, I think it was a movement of about 15 places. That means we did very well in terms of ease of doing business reforms, as compared to the other countries. And we hope this will also improve in terms of the 2020 ranking. We also improved in terms of the budget transparency in Zimbabwe. We are now in the region. We are now number 3, only after South Africa and Namibia. So we are really doing well in terms of budget transparency. And we hope through this workshop and with the strategy that we are going to do in coming up with this communication strategy, will actually enhance in terms of budget transparency. And I'm quite confident that we actually be number 1 if we really implement our communication strategy, and if we really disseminate what government is doing for the people in a manner that really will be seen by everyone. Maybe let me just highlight some of the challenges that we faced under TSP. You find that we, as a nation, we experienced exogenous shocks. Exogenous shocks, these are factors that will affect the implementation of our program, but they will be coming not because of us, but because of natural or world issues. The first issue that affected really, especially during the early implementation of the TSP, is the cyclone Idai and the drought. What actually happened is that most of the resources that we really targeted for implementation of TSP were then diverted to this exogenous shock. And you know that once you take money from somewhere, other projects were affected. So this really affected in a big way quite a number of projects. Then we had the COVID-19 pandemic, which came and affected us in Zimbabwe, especially from March up to now, and the disruptions that were happening, the lockdowns also affected production, and that actually affected some of the targets that we set under TSP. Then you find that these shocks, they have their own transmission mechanism. For example, the COVID-19 meant that we had disruptions, which actually disrupted the value chains and production. Then actually leading to low production in the productive sectors, such as the mining, the manufacturing, etc. One challenge that we also faced during the TSP implementation is the unstable macroeconomic environment that came, especially with the reintroduction of the Zimbabwean dollar, and we had to also quite an issue in terms of forex availability, inflation, the exchange rate. That also affected quite a lot of milestones during the implementation of TSP. And electricity shortages, you also notice that the generation capacity from 2018, 2019 has been going down. And without electricity, you can't talk of any growth. These are the impacts, but I won't talk about that. But government also came up with the rescue package because of the exogenous shocks that we experienced, especially the COVID-19 pandemic. There were quite some progress in terms of the mining industry, in terms of the manufacturing, in terms of youth and gender empowerment, also in terms of support to SMEs, in terms of the money that we actually disbursed. In terms of tourism, this was affected by COVID-19, but before that, before the COVID pandemic, tourism was actually picking up, and we hope with the trends that are coming in terms of getting vaccine, this industry, this sector will actually pick up under NDS maybe after 1 or 2 years. Infrastructure development, quite a number of projects. Some of them I've highlighted them, but in terms of infrastructure development, I think this is one of the vision pillar that really scored significant in terms of progress. Although it was also affected by COVID and other factors in that the cyclone Idai. Roads, I think we did very well in terms of roads. We did very well in terms of dams. The Marwanyati, Causeway, Chivu, the Sema, and some of them are still ongoing, but we did quite well in terms of these projects. In terms of social protection, you find that there was some strengthened social protection during the implementation of TSP, mainly because some of the issues, some of the reforms that came, they actually led to an increase in the group, in the vulnerable group in terms of the numbers. But there was an increased allocation for cash transfers and distribution to reduce food poverty. In terms of public transport, government managed to subsidize this during the implementation of TSP, the purchase of buses to mitigate the vulnerable, the poor. Health services, we had quite a number of projects, and we have the list of projects that were implemented by district. In terms of education, quite a number, communication, ICT, justice delivery, security services, quite a number of scores. But as I said, maybe in conclusion, under TSP, a number of targets we achieved. However, like I said before, during the data part of TSP, the country battled with inflation and exchange rate volatility, and we really see some unfinished business in some of the pillars which should be carried over to the 1 or 2 initial years under NDS, the National Development Strategy. And one of these issues is macroeconomic stability. Like I said, we have achieved some stability in the last 4 months, but if you ask people, we have been experiencing stability for the first 4 months, but there is instability in the minds of people. So this will only be raised if this continues for the next years, and we will also be gaining confidence as a nation. And media houses, you sitting here, we have a role to play in partnering government to ensure that the TSP achievements and challenges are communicated to every citizen in every corner of Zimbabwe. Thank you very much.
So I'm not sure whether you are tired, because you are feeling sleepy, you are hungry.